Hello and welcome. This is John Bloodworth, Gentleman Crafter, and in this video I will be talking to you about the bookbinding guide from WeRMemory Keepers. This allows you to do an assortment of different stitch types to create your own personalised notebooks. The one that I'll show in this video is the saddle stitch, probably one of the easiest bookbinding techniques that you will find. And realistically, this is a way to create very unique and personal notebooks. The guide itself is intended to help you with the positioning of the holes and also, of course, with the stitching. The main tool has a base and a top layer, and where you position that top layer will depend on the type of stitching that you're going to be doing. As you can see, both sets have holes in, and this is for the piercing of the paper and the covers. Inside the little grey pouch that comes in the kit, you have the piercing tool, two types of needles, some waxed cord, and the instructions. And don't worry if this print is a little too small for you, you can find the full set of instructions on the WeRMemory Keepers website as well, which I personally found useful because none of my 3 sets of spectacles were any good. Okay, so let me give you a brief overview of how this all works. So I'll just get the bits out that I need and then I will make a start. Step 1, you would basically trim your papers and your cover to size, and these obviously need to be double the width of the actual notebook. Then you would fold the cover and all of the pages. Next, you'd stack all of the pages inside each other. And then next we're going to start our piercing, and this is where the tool comes in, the actual guide. So we take off the little screws, position the fold of the paper in the cradle, and then put the guide back on top and put the screws in place. Then we take the tool, the piercing tool, and jab it through holes. Which holes will again depend on the type of stitching you're doing. For this particular notebook, I'm going with alternating holes. Just a quick tip here, working in 1/2 inch increments for the height of the notebook will help you get evenly spaced holes every single time. Now for the cover itself, and I did these separately because you can basically pierce up to, the instructions say 8 sheets of paper, but I managed to get it through 10, and you can also do it through chipboard as well. So I tend to do those separately. By using the guide though, you can ensure that all of these holes will line up when you put them together ready for stitching like this. I like to hold mine in place while I'm working. You could of course use bulldog clips, but I was using these little sewing clips as they're not as strong as bulldog clips, so they won't mark the paper. Next, there is no instruction on how much cord to use in the directions. However, from experience, I have found that about 2.5 times the height of the spine is enough to do the saddle stitch. The waxed cord then gets threaded into the straight needle, if I can pick it up. And that's fairly easy because you've got a waxed cord, so no frayed threads. And then we start by going from the inside to the outside, leaving a tail, and I chose to use my fingers here as a guide, but I'd say about 2 inches. I clip that in place to help me as well, like a third hand. Then we go in to the next hole from the outside. And then basically for the rest we're just going in and out all the way through like a running stitch. And I have to sped this bit of video up rather than chopping it out, so I hope you can still make out what I'm doing, but I didn't want to have you sat here for a few minutes while I did this. In, out, and you can shake it all about if you want. Okay, when we get to the end, we basically reverse direction and go into the holes that we came out of and out of the holes that we came into, if that makes any sense at all. Basically, you're filling in the blanks. And then once we're in that last hole, we can take the cord from the needle and then just tie, I just do a double-handed knot here, but try and make sure the knot is towards one of the holes, because then you can take the bulk of the knot and push it into one of the holes so that it doesn't really impact the folding of your notebook. And that is really it. With a saddle stitched book, you will always have a little bit creeping out of the side. If that bothers you, you can take a metal ruler and a very sharp knife and just do several draws of your knife over that edge, keeping your ruler in place all the time, and that will just straighten off that edge and make it look very neat and presentable. And there you go. I haven't tried any of the Japanese bookbinding stitches with this guide or the Coptic stitch, but it does apparently help you do both, so it's definitely worth a go and it works really well. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and will check out more from me, John Bloodworth, Gentleman Crafter. Links to all of the products and bits and pieces will be in the description below the video. In the meantime, thanks for watching. That's it for this time. If you've enjoyed this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. And for more from me in the future, please remember to subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching.